Let's talk about Need for Speed one of my more favorite Need for Speed games. Right? Why? I don't know. I just like this game. I find it enjoyable. So let's play it and talk about it. I don't know what to tell you here. Because I am a firm believer that this is a great Need for Speed game with faults. Now, before we hop in here, and before you guys start spouting about original 2005 Need for Speed and whatnot, right, as my controller disconnects itself again. Oh, it's really not wanting to turn back on. So, before you start talking about Need for Speed 2005, yes, I know, fantastic game. I'm not saying it's not. It's a fantastic game, maybe one of the best Need for Speed games. They aren't remaking it or remastering it, and it's old and it's dated, right? One of these days I would love to play it. I was born in 05. I was not, fresh out of the womb playing that game. So I don't like comparing the newer games to older games, unless there is no difference or it's a remake / elite remaster, right? That's the only time where I'll be like, alright, yeah, let's compare. Because I understand most people's sentiment with Need for Speed, right? People want these games to be as good as they can be because we love Need for Speed. It is an infinitely better Need for Speed than Payback, right? I don't know why we focus on such negatives, right? There are a few problems with this game, and I am going to just come out of the bat and say them. The story sucks, but we're playing a racing game. I don't care for the story that much. Okay? Story sucks, but that's whatever. The characters suck, but it's a racing game. I'm here to race nice looking cars, and my dream car being the Skyline. Alright? And this game, I hope they don't do it dirty like they did in Need for Speed, which we're gonna get to. We're gonna get to that. Where they kind of just cut support, even though they told us we'd get more support for it. We just didn't. It's kind of bullshit. EA, you cut support for a game that could have lived for much longer. And it's not even the first time that you did it. Maybe you guys just were in an antsy mood, because you did the same shit to Battlefront 2 around the same time.
That jump was pathetic, asshat.
Thanks, cops. Oh, the cops in this game are such assholes, I love it. We've got, the fact that Battlefront 2 and Heat around the same time, give or take, got their support shut down. They should have never. Had they still had support, I bet you they would have still been alive to this day, getting even more support, being some of the greatest games in its respective genre. Because whether you like EA or not, after Battlefront 2 became less of a loot box sim and more of a game, it was a pretty good game, right? And, oh my lord. Alright, you know what, it's aching me. Let's talk about Need for Speed Heat real quick. This game's multiplayer sucks. Whether you like it or not, that is the fact of the fact. It is fact. This game's multiplayer sucks. Whether you like it or not, this game's multiplayer sucks. It is nowhere near as competent or good as Need for Speed Heat's. I don't know how you can go from Need for Speed Heat's multiplayer to this game's multiplayer. How do you have such a downgrade? I don't know. Right? I think that's the biggest issue with Need for Speed Heat. Is that. Right? There should have been no reason for it. Right? There should be no reason for this game's multiplayer being what it is after Need for Speed Heat. Having nigh on perfect multiplayer. Maybe not perfect multiplayer, but nothing in this world is perfect. nothing.
Spike strip up ahead should stop this perp.
Hey, all patrol here. We're good to engage. They're just going over the strip.
Keep on that perp. Reinforcements are en route.
Now, I'm playing this modded, right? So the cops are a lot more aggressive than they should be. Because apparently people got mad at the cops at launch for being too difficult, and then they got absolutely cut. I don't remember them being that difficult, right? So, yeah, I don't remember the cops in this game being difficult at all. I remember them being quite easy, actually. So I like the added challenge of mods, making the cops difficult, more aggressive, longer escape timers, all that kit.
This is dispatch. We lost that suspect
Because it's fun. I like a challenge. Maybe I'm a masochist. I'm a masochist. But we're gonna ignore that. Right? I love Need for Speed. As much of a pain in the ass as the game is, I love it. And I'm about to piss off either a lot of people or a lot of people are about to agree with me. That's a rhino. I love Need for Speed Unbound. Is it the best game in the world? Absolutely not. If I wanted to play the best game in the world, I would play a little-known game called Honey Pop. Alright? Let's be honest here. Greatest match 3 game in all of existence. Of course, I'm kind of joking. It's match 3 game. But at the same chase, we all know what Honey Pop is. And that's why it's a good game. Because Honey Pop knows what it is. Right.
Undercover's here. We got this.
So, when it comes to Need for Speed, I cannot say that Unbound is a bad game. Can I say it's a perfect game? No. Can I say buy it? No. Because it's an EA title. And one thing that I have learned from recent streams is if I'm going to be playing a game, I'm going to need to be playing an indie game. Why am I going to need to be playing an indie game? That's a wonderful question. Let me elaborate. An indie game will keep me safe and secure. I don't like AAA titles. I don't like AAA companies because they used to be, yes, let's get the best games out there and make the most money. That was before gaming was as established as it is now. Gaming's much more established than what it used to be. And so now AAA developers can look at the game, be like, yes, I would like to make generic garbage, and it'll still sell like hotcakes. Because, yeah, I can't tell you why it'll sell like hotcakes, but it does. And that's kind of a problem now, isn't it? And so, I don't trust AAA developers anymore. I don't understand why AAA developers still are able to do what they are, because we as a gaming community should be able to look at what they're doing, be like, fuck you guys, we're not buying your game, but for some reason we always buy it. And if you're wondering, no we don't, Call of Duty. We still buy those. We shouldn't be buying them anymore, but we do, and I don't understand why. We have no reason to be buying those games, right? We have zero reason to be buying the game because of what they've done to it. Done to the players, done to the mod developers, everything. There is no reason for us to be buying Call of Duties anymore because of how fucked up they are right now. Right? What they've done to their modders is terrible. And that's why I genuinely believe at this point, EA used to be like, fuck EA, worst game developer. No, EA's not that anymore, right? EA's still greedy, I mean, yeah. What company isn't greedy anymore? But EA isn't a bad company anymore. Not as bad as they used to be. Certainly not the worst. That honor now goes to Activision. EA doesn't shut down their modders for older games. because it keeps the game alive. Anybody with a brain knows that. Modding keeps the damn games alive. And Activision's like, nah man, they're taking revenue from us? No, they're fucking not. They're protecting the players, unlike you jackasses. Because as much as people don't like to admit it, those modders have pretty secure servers and modded servers that don't let, you know, minor inconveniences like hackers that can access an exploit in your game that gives them control of your computer. You know, they don't really have those, but you want to know what does? The new Call of Duties, because it's Activision. And at this point, Activision's too big to fail, guys. They really are. There's no failing for them. And it disgusts me. And, like, Need for Speed Unbound ain't the best game, right? I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it is, because that would be a lie. But god damn it, man, I love this game. I very weirdly enjoy this game to a very immense degree. And now that I've also started modding it, it just gets better. Right? Like, the mods, sure, not everyone can access mods, but even the base game I enjoyed. Sure, the campaign's a little grindy at times, but like, man, I was able to run my Skyline through the entire thing. I literally had 3 Skylines for the final race. I had an R32, an R34, and an R35. And that's what I did. I ran Skylines through the final race. Why? I don't know. Why not? It was for my own enjoyment. I got my own enjoyment out of it. You know? And, like, I think the only problem that I really have with base game that, like, is crippling is you don't have access to all events. Like, the meetups are cool, but I think they should be optional. Without a doubt, they should be optional. But, like, yeah. Need for Speed Unbound ain't a bad game. It's actually quite good. The drifting feels good, even though I'm using a mod that changes the drifting just because I also have a mod that increases my speed a bunch, so it just starts to break after a while. It just makes the game a lot faster, right? Like, this is super modded. Like, you can tell I have a 20 times multiplier, and I just lost it. Well, that kind of hurts. But please, just, if you play Need for Speed, or play AAA games, just know what AAA games and companies to support, because we shouldn't be supporting all of them. Some of them are dog shit, and they don't make good games anymore. I have nothing against Treyarch, Infinity Ward, or Sledgehammer. I have something against Activision. And I think that's what we need to take away. Is these companies will keep on making money. We can't stop that. We can try, sure, but we won't. We can't. It's nigh on impossible to stop that from happening, right? Because that's just part of the company. They are so big. They have all these different companies underneath them. I mean, shit, dude. We could have gotten better Transformers games if Activision didn't fuck over High Moon Studio. That one's got me a little guilted. Alright. They made Fall of Cybertron War for Cybertron, and Activision fucked them over. Cut their sales, or cut the amount of employees they had, and just cut them down. And now they work on shitty-ass games, like Call of Duty. Makes me very, very vehemently mad. But I guess that's part of the fun. That'll be the end of this one. I know, this was a rant on big companies being shitty. But hey, maybe you agree, and if you do, chances are you should stick around, because we'll have shared opinions. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, if you agree, you probably did. So, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces, me's. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe even check out the Patreon if you agree that much, which I think, cool. Man, fuck big company. Am I right, boys?